In the previous discussion, I talked about the School of God alone and placement tests and the rules. And as you recall, in those placement tests, everybody is free to talk and is open book, and the consultation is free. And at the end, you are the one who is going to look at the test and decide what the grade should be. And based on that, you can choose any class you want to go in this school, from kindergarten all the way to the PhD and above, and nobody's going to stop you. Today, I'm going to cover one more question. But before I do that, let me clarify the purpose of these questions. When we are in a regular school, there are different courses, same as literature, algebra, and geometry, and such. And everybody is tested or quizzed regularly on this subject. Therefore, everybody knows more or less his grade for that particular course, and have a chance to learn from it and make improvement and overcome its weaknesses, and at the next quiz or test, God willing, do better. But when it comes to the religious, it looks like we don't know where do we stand, because no matter what is our religion, we always think that ours are the right path and we are correct, and the rest of the people are on the wrong path. And that's how basically we rule. So the question is, how can we find out that how good we are? Are we on the right path or not? So the purpose of the so-called placement test are the similar to the regular school, to point out our weaknesses in a particular subject matter. And we might be good in some of these tests and not so good on others. And we should work on our weaknesses to make improvement. And saying that there is a verse in Quran 3:154. At the end of the verse, it says that God does put you to the test to bring out your true convictions and to test what is in your heart. God is fully aware of the innermost thoughts. So question comes out, God is fully aware of the innermost thoughts. So if God is aware of it, so he wants to bring our true conviction for whom? Is it for himself, to keep it to himself, and at the judgment day bring it up and say, oh, you failed on that test? Or it is for us. We have to realize, oh, we have been tested, and we should know the result. And if there is a flaw in our system, so based on that, we can make it better. So next time, God willing, we are going to pass the test. Saying all of those things, so let's go to the question. The question is, which is question number 3, which one of the following can take care of your needs in this life? First, dollar, lots of money, or 2, God. So which one of those 2 can take care of our needs? My obvious answer to this question is, if I had $1 million of these dollars, I can't buy a peanut if God does not want it. And if I do and I buy it, I cannot swallow it. So it looks like the question is easy to respond, at least for me. But Mr. Examiner stopped me and said, a question is not about what I think or lip service or what I believe. It is about what we do in the action, real life. When we go out of the door, which one of these 2 is our qibla? Which one of those 2 we are going to go after? There are moments in everybody's life that we have to choose between God or money. As simple as this. Let me share with you my story. Basically, my car had a problem, and I took it to the dealership, and they gave me a loaner. And the next day I called and said, okay, is my car ready? The guy said, yeah, it is ready. So I said, okay. On the way going to the dealership to get my car, I stopped by at Office Max to get a copy of some document I had. It was a 4 pages document. So I went over there and I said, okay, where should I go? The guy told me that, okay, here is the copy machine, go over there and take it. So I went over there, I looked at it, and I saw that, okay, I have to put those pages over there, and that's what I did. I put those 4 pages face up and pushed the button, and as a result, I saw that the 4 blank copies came out because I put it backward. I should put face down. As a result, I corrected and I put face down, and I got the 4 copies. On the way going out at the cashier, I was debating with myself, should I say I had 4 pages or I had 8 pages? So I was in dilemma. What should I do? What should I say? And obviously Satan is always present, and he came to me and said, oh, it's not your fault if you copied 4 pages in the wrong way. Somebody should be there to tell you. So because they didn't tell you, so that's not your problem. You have to pay only 4 pages because you are going out with 4 pages. And I said, yeah, it makes sense to me. So I said, yeah, it was 4 pages. And I paid, 40 cents. And I came out. And suddenly came to me that that was a God's test. Why didn't I I should tell to the registrar that I made such a mistake, then I could either pay him or not pay him or whatever, but the honest way, the way that Quran wants us to have a life is to be honest. So I should tell to the cashier that that what happened, but I didn't. So I was very ashamed of myself. For 40 cents, why did I choose the wrong way, not the right way? And I was thinking, I was very mad of myself, and I was repenting to God. I said, God, forgive me. So I was trying basically to ask for the God forgiveness. As I was driving to go and get my car, suddenly a rubble hit my windshield and caused 1 star on the windshield. And I said, wow, now what? And I saw that the star is propagating, it's going to get bigger. I said, wow, and I don't have insurance. I'm going to take the loaner to the dealership, and the dealership is going to see opportunity here, and they are going to charge me arm and leg because of that. So I was debating again. And when I go over there, should I tell them what happened or shouldn't I? And this time, it was not Satan, it was myself. I didn't want to bring it up because I was afraid that the dealership is going to charge me a lot. So what I did was, I said, okay, I don't want to pay, so who's going to help me in that regard? And obviously Quran said you have to be honest. And so who else can help me? Mr. Satan. But this time I was behind the wheel. I didn't want to pay. And I asked Satan for help. And Satan came to me and said, you know what? That was not your fault. I guess the rock hit the windshield, and you shouldn't tell them. That is their job to find out if there is a problem or not. Anyway, I was debating again. It was 5 minutes ago I was repenting to the God because of those 40 cents. Now the table changed. I'm in the other side of the table, and again, I don't want to pay. So I was debating with myself all the way to the dealership. Should I tell or shouldn't I tell? And eventually I got there. The guy came and I gave the car, and I didn't tell him anything. And the guy didn't see it and took the car away from me. And when I went over there waiting for my car, again he came to me, oh, shame on you. You repented. You said such a nice thing to God, forgive me. And in 5 minutes, you did again the same thing. That time you blame it on Satan, and this time there is nobody to blame except myself. I didn't want to pay. I didn't want to tell about that. So again, I said, God, if you are going to burn me in the hell, you have every right to do. I mean, it was purely my mistake and my weakness. And again, I was very ashamed of myself and say, why I'm doing this? How come to? I mean, again, I was cursing myself to my bone and was very ashamed. And again, repenting to the God because I have nowhere else to go for repenting. And as I was talking to myself, the guy in the dealership came to me and said, you know what, we made a mistake. Your car is not ready and it's going to be available tomorrow. Why don't you take your loaner car back and bring it back tomorrow? And they brought me the car. And I said, ow. Again, I went to the other side of the table. Look at myself and say, now what? I'm going to take this car. Now the start is pretty small, and as I'm going to have it till tomorrow, it's going to get bigger and bigger. And when it gets bigger, now definitely this time the guy is going to see it. And again, I was debating. And in the other hand, I was talking to myself, oh, you were repenting to God 5 minutes ago. You were asking for another opportunity. That's how you are going to do it. Again, that night I had a hard time debating with myself. Should I tell or shouldn't I? So God willing, thanks God, next time when I took the car over there, as soon as the guy came, I jumped out and said, you know what, a rock hit my windshield and put a star over it. And the guy looked at us, okay, no problem. They took the car. So the whole story, basically, God tested me 2 times and maybe 3 times. And I felt, I knew that I'm doing wrong thing. So between the money and God, I chose money. But again, thanks God, in the 3rd chance he gave to me, I passed. I could overcome my ambitions. So that was the first part of the discussion. Now let's move on. On the verse 102, 1 and 2, Quran says, you remain preoccupied with hoarding until you go to grave. So basically, Quran knows that, God knows that we all are in love with money. This is a never-ending love. And Satan is well aware of our never-ending love for money. It does not matter how rich we are, we always want more. But Satan is not that rich to pay us lots of money to commit a sin. And he uses his own technique. Have you seen the old movie, It Is a Wonderful Life? The movie is about a guy, Mr. Bailey. He is a righteous, a small banker. And he gives loans to the poor family and at the minimum rate, and is very helpful, and in whole his life is supporting the poor, and people loved him and he loved the people, and everything was great. And he did a lot of sacrifice in his life for everybody. And now he had to deposit some money to the bank and gave that money to his uncle, which is the old man, and asked him to go ahead and deposit that money in the bank, which is very critical. And his uncle, I guess somehow on the way going to the bank, misplaced the money, and the money got lost and didn't reach on time to the bank. As a result, so the bank examiner was after him, what had happened to money, and the news went out and situation got sour. And he was mad, running here and there to find money, but no hope. And also in his home, the situation gets sour. So as a result was bad situation. He decided to go and kill himself. He went on top of the cliff and wants to jump into the stormy ocean and was debating with himself to jump. And God, which was watching the whole thing, didn't want Mr. Bailey to end up like this. He didn't want him to commit a sin and kill himself. So what God did, sent down an angel to help him out. And the angel basically is a nice story. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go and watch. The angel asked the guy, Mr. Bailey, that how can I help you? And Mr. Bailey said, do you have money? And the angel said, you know what, money up there doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have that much value. And Mr. Bailey responded, but down here, money comes very handy. And that's the whole point. In our life, money is very important. Let's say you go to the grocery store, you cannot say, okay, I want this, I want that, and don't have money, go and get it from God. You want to go vacation, you have mortgage, you have house, you want a car, you want different kind of thing, and everything you want, obviously money can provide. But you cannot say, okay, God will provide that one. You see that the money has lots of power here. So now the real issue on hand is we see the power of the money and we can see what money can do. But in the other hand, we don't see God. God is unseen. And God wants us to turn our back to the money and face Him. It's a very hard thing God is asking us. I see the power of money and the God is unseen. Now God wants to tell me, okay, don't look at the money, turn your back, and whenever you want to choose me, don't choose the money. So it's hard for me. I mean, well, how come? Why God didn't make money disappear and make Himself appear? So this way I can see the God. I don't see the money. It's going to be much, much easier for me to turn to God. And as I was talking to myself, that Mr. Examiner told me that, do you remember verse 7172 in Quran? It says that, recall that your Lord summoned all the descendants of Adam and had them bear witness for themselves. Am I not your Lord? They all said, yes, we bear witness. Thus you cannot say on the day of resurrection, we were not aware of this. So that day, God was seen, and all of us, we saw the God, and we made promise to God. What we did was, we turned our face away from the God, and we went and we followed the Satan. So Satan was unseen, and God was seen. But that day, we made decision to go toward Satan. What a shame. And we were unappreciative to God. So we saw that all of the angels were prostrating to God. We saw His power. We saw the whole thing. But what we did was, we turned our back to God. Now, God sent us down to the earth for a limited time, which we don't know how much is it. But this time, it's not as easy as it was before. So this time, God is unseen and evil can be seen. Or you can see the power of money. Now you have to choose which one of them you want to go after. And that's the whole thing. Those which they are righteous people, they are right people, they are going to find God here no matter what, if can be seen or cannot be seen. You are going to find it. And that's the beauty of it. Money can bring us happiness. But the happiness is a short life happiness. The real truth here is that the money cannot elevate our spirit or our overall well-being. Happiness within is the revelation of God's blessing, something that you can experience, but you cannot buy or create. We need to understand more money for some might have had consequences, that we might not be able to realize. Next thing we know, we are no longer on the right path because money has potential to take us where we can't or we don't want to be. Saying all of those, if still you want to go after the money, so I have a reservation for you next to me in the kindergarten of the School of God alone. I hope in our life, when the moment comes and we have to choose between God and money, we made the right choice and take the God side.